Can we start with, what was your first concert?
God, I'm going to say it, it's going to age me so badly. General public.
Ooh.
Nobody? No.
No.
You don't know.
No.
They used to be the English, like parts of it was English beat.
Okay,
like,
sure.
Yeah,
Yep,
they had
yep.
a song, Tenderness. Yeah, I was.
Yes.
I was like 12, 13.
Okay.
So right around,
right around
grade,
that
eighth grade,
turning point.
Yeah,
Yes,
totally.
okay.
For me, it was Metric.
Oh, okay.
Which was
last year.
I know, last year.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And my first concert was when I was in college because my parents never let me go to a concert. That's why I made this movie about a girl going to a concert.
This was your
fulfillment.
Yeah. Can we talk about what was the most logistically challenging scene?
I think I always feel like the first and the last scenes are always the hardest. And the first is hardest because we are, every time, convince ourselves it's the easiest thing. We're like, oh, this scene will be a piece of cake. There's like 2 characters. And sure enough, invariably, it's a mess. And it's because, we're figuring it all out. Like the animators are trying to test a model while they're performing it. And you were figuring out kind of how to direct people in a way, remotely.
Yep.
So that's always hard. And then the last one's always hard because we hold off. It's usually the third act. It's usually the big kind of climax of the movie. And, we've rewritten it 80,000 times. And
it's got like a million characters.
It's got a bazillion. And
effects, simulation, everything.
And everybody's terrified of it. So it's always the scene that we hold off as long as possible because everybody's like, oh no, that one's going to be huge.
And it was.
Literally.
Yes,
literally
yes,
huge.
Literally huge.
How about emotionally? What was the most challenging scene to get right?
Oh, definitely at the end of the movie where Mei and Ming kind of come together. Mm-hmm. That didn't come together until like the very last version of the movie that we screened. I think because too, personally, I was kind of struggling with my own kind of conclusion in my relationship with my mom too, but then I realized there is no conclusion. It's ongoing. Mm-hmm. And you're always going to be fighting with your mom, and there's always going to be this push and pull, and I think that was me and Julia Cho, our screenwriters, eureka moment, the end isn't that there's an end, that they never fight again,
right?
That everything's tied up neatly in the bow. It's that they kind of are at peace with this new dynamic, that it's going to be a little bit more tense, they're going to have more conflict, but it's going to be deeper, and they're still going to love each other,
right,
but not have to always be in sync like they were in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, but you also wanted it to feel satisfying.
Yeah,
you wanted it to feel like actually they did grow.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And I think part of it's because you learn over time that it's the characters are going to have to tell you ultimately what feels right. I mean, you could go in with the best of intentions and go this is how we're going to end the movie, and this is how we're going to resolve it. And as the characters grow over the course of 3.5 years making the movie, all of a sudden that changes, and you're like, actually, that's not satisfying anymore. We need to pay attention to these characters we've created and let them tell us what feels right.
Mm-hmm. It was also, it was doubly tricky too, because it's an Asian mother and daughter relationship.
Trust me, I get it.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And there were so many instances where we'd get a note or a suggestion, or even we'd be tempted to just have Ming say I love you and I accept you, and
that's
we're
never
no.
gonna.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's very lucky out there. That's happened to them.
I was the California girl that's why don't they just say I love you? And
no, we don't do that.
She's
sorry.
No, that's not what we do.
It was so hard because there were so many versions where it ended, and we all felt we're oh, this is very unsatisfying. Does she actually love her mom?
And she's like, yes, it is unsatisfying. It's deeply unsatisfying.
But you feel the love there. Your mom does love you, but they do it through action and through other things besides just saying it. So that's why it took a while to reach the end.
Very understandable.
Yeah.
For years, I have been describing my relationship with my mother as fighting with a more powerful version of myself.
Yes.
So to see it represented literally on screen, I was like, oh, I get this. Yes. And a lot of people, right? It's probably a lot of people who have no longer tag moms, red panda moms.
Red panda moms,
Exactly. They're well-intentioned. They're well-intentioned, but
Well-intentioned.
it's a challenging. Yeah, I totally
we're rebranding it and as like the strong, loving.
I feel like it's a little softer. Yeah, it's a little softer than the tiger thing. So what would you say the biggest change from the first version of the story that was in your head to the one we see on screen? Is that ending, or are there other like?
Oh my gosh,
okay,
there are so many.
Yeah,
I mean, these films take 4 years to make, and there's 8 screenings in between those 4 years. So there were 8 different versions of the movie until we got to the final version. I think the biggest change is the red panda itself and her mom, like Ming's attitude towards it. I think when I first pitched the idea, it was a girl going through magical puberty, but it was a little bit more of a slapstick comedy, kind of more of a broader kind of like more one-dimensional characters. May's mother was actually like really happy that she turns into a red panda because she's like, oh, good, this can help bring in more customers to the temple.
Yeah, it would have been a very valid storyline too, though. I would have totally. I see that movie also, like in my head. I'm like, yep, all right.
And let's monetize it.
Monetize it. And then it was plottier too. Mm-hmm. There was like a cousin, like a male cousin that came in that was also a red panda. There was just a little bit.
There was a lot. There was a gangster at one point.
There was a Chinatown gangster, and then at some point it was like you or Pete Doctor was like, I'm losing the metaphor.
Like, why is there a?
I thought this is puberty.
Yeah, why are we talking about a gangster at this point? So yeah, a lot of simplification.
Yeah,
okay.
A lot of simplification.
What is the most embarrassing thing your parents did to you at 13? Or is it? Are we seeing it on film? Okay, I'm so sorry. R.I.P.
No,
Oh,
go for it.
Okay.
You're definitely seeing
yes, it is. Yes, you're seeing it on screen. My mom actually did follow me to my first day of middle school, and I was walking out with my new best friends, and then one of them goes, "Who's that Asian lady from behind a tree?" And I look up, and it's my mom with sunglasses on, and she was like worried about me, so she followed me to school, and but I was afraid. It's a core memory now. She did not get into a fight with a security guard, thank goodness. But in that moment, I viscerally remember wanting to like explode. So I just had to put that in a movie where Mei actually does explode.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, if we're talking specifically, I mean, it wasn't my dad, best of intentions, like most parents, best of intentions. But I think, when I remember I got my period at camp, a sleepaway camp, and I remember being like, oh my God, no, because we never talked about it. And then I come home and like my dad like looks at me and like I drop off. So there's all these other families around, and he just is like, I hear something special happened at camp. Like, and I was like, oh my God. I literally I think I burst into tears because I was like, please, somebody, no. Can we just not talk about it ever? So that's what I love about this movie too, because it's like hopefully normalizes much more some of those conversations.
Yes, yeah. For some people it might actually be that conversation for them. It's like, oh no, what are these things I have to ask about?
Exactly.
Now kids have the internet,
exactly.
So don't Google that. Who was your first celebrity crush?
Wait, who's mine? Who was my first? My first? It was Orlando Bloom as Legolas.
Mm-hmm.
He's beautiful. I've never seen a more beautiful man.
Yeah, nice.
And I just remember trying to draw him over and over again in my sketchbook.
I think when I was really young, it was Sean Cassidy.
Who's that?
Oh my God. He's
a singer. He's a singer.
It's like, no, it's like he's never mind. Anyway, the one that you're going to know.
He's a heartthrobbing singer. I do know who Sean Cassidy is.
The hearty voice. Anyway, and then when it kind of made, I want to say May's age, it was Prince.
Oh.
I was obsessed with Prince.
Great taste.
Yeah. I love those beautiful boys. Yeah.
I mean, the follow-up to yours is, did you become an Aragorn woman? Because they say you start as a Legolas girl, and then you become an Aragorn woman.
Yeah, it's true. I did become an Aragorn woman.
Yeah, I feel that. I get that.
But I still have a soft spot for those pretty boys too.
I think based on the movie, yes. But there's so. I feel like it's safe, right? It's a safe expression.
Safe.
I was having this discussion with friends. I was like, that's why people love K-popers, or why people love the Backstreet Boys. 100%. It's like it's just sort of neutered.
They are very safe, soft. It's like a great way for a young girl to wade into the pool of sexuality.
Yeah, but packaged in a way that keeps it very.
Yes, also that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of parents, a lot of my questions became like therapy, basically.
Yeah.
What is the most outlandish thing your parents told you in order to get you to do what they wanted? So, like, a broad example is the myth of a certain North Pole dweller. But there are, like, more specific ones that a lot of families, I feel like.
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. One that, like, to do what you want. Let me think.
Therapy questions. These are therapy questions.
Like, go to the next one. I'm going to think about that as you talk about the next one.
Wait, I kind of have a story.
Oh, you do?
But I don't know if it's like exactly that, but it's a funny story with my mom. I'm just going to tell it anyway. Okay, okay, it was like me, my mom, and my dad. We were walking to like visit a family friend's like place, and then she had like accidentally walked into a window.
Your mom?
My mom. Because it was like a big
a clean window.
Like, me and my dad like guffawed, like oh, and then she's very like proud and dignified. She's like, oh, and she's like rubbing her head, and she didn't say anything all night. And then the next morning, there was like a letter on the dining table addressed to the two of us, and like we opened it, and then it was like I was very hurt that you two laughed at my pain last night.
She left you a letter?
Yeah, she left us a letter.
Do we have the same mother? Are we secretly?
I know, and then so me and my dad had to like apologize.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really funny.
That is so funny.
But we still bring it up, but I'm not sure if that answers your question.
No,
it's like
guilt. The answer was guilt. Then.
She'll leave letters.
Did your mom laugh at the story now?
Yeah. She'll laugh at it now, like, but like she still thinks she was right to like leave us a letter and point out that we were being mean to like chuckle
like
at
formally
her,
wanted
at
to
her
let
misery.
You know. She filed a formal complaint.
Yeah. It's notarized. It was notarized.
Yeah, it was.
She went triplicate.
Yeah.
She's very good at that.
Exactly.
Have your mothers seen the film? I'm gonna assume so. And what was their reaction?
Hers has.
My mother just saw it this week, actually, and she loved it. I didn't know. I was like, she'd kill me right now for saying this, but she's like, in her late 70s. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to kind of, if it's going to play, if she's going to kind of get it, right? I mean, but she cried. She said it was her favorite. I mean, and again, like, it's not to say, I've made other Pixar films, so this is not like, oh, I have to say this is my favorite. But she's like, I really think this is my favorite film. And she's like, I felt like it really spoke to me as a mom and as a daughter. She was one of 3 girls. So and had a very strong mother. So I think there is a real kind of visceral connection for her on this film. She loved it. So that was great.
That's great. I don't know yet because my mom still hasn't seen it. But we're going to Toronto in a couple days.
Oh, okay.
Actually, tomorrow we're flying. Tomorrow, and we're going to premiere it there, and her and my dad are invited to the premiere. So I'll let you
I'm just
know.
going to stand in the front wearing night vision goggles. I'm just focused only on her mom.
Maybe I'll phrase it as, what do you hope she says about it?
I hope she says, I'm proud of you.
And what do you think the odds that she'll actually say that are? Yeah.
She's going to say, I've never been more proud. I love you.
I love you. No, she'll never say I love you with the words. But I think she'll get a kick out of it. Who would want Sandra Oh to play them in a movie?
That's very, in terms of like...
Cool. I mean, the mom is so cool. Ultimately, comes off so nuanced and cool and unlikable. And yeah.
She's fun. I love Ming.
Yeah, I think she's gonna love it.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be super proud. How could she not be?
Come
on. Yeah. She'll take full credit.
She'll be like,
there you go. That's she'll be like,
the reason you are as amazing as you are.
Where are my royalties? This is my life story.
Yes. You didn't go to concerts.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Yeah,
you're welcome.
Very
real.
Yeah. These are rapid fire. Mm-hmm. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? I think I know the answer already.
NSYNC.
Gross. New Kids on the Block or Boyz II Men?
Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men. I don't know.
Brittany or Christina?
Brittany.
Christina for her voice.
Okay, yeah. Which Spice Girl is your favorite?
Sporty.
Posh.
Okay. Beanie Babies or Pogs?
Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies.
Okay. Local movie rental shop or Blockbuster?
Local movie rental shop. That was a long answer. Local movie rental shop.
Yeah.
That was like...
the words. Go-to sugary breakfast cereal and or were you allowed sugary breakfast cereal?
I was never allowed sugary breakfasts, but the one I loved the most was Apple Jacks.
Oh, interesting.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because me and my parents believed all the General Mills propaganda. We're like, this is part of a balanced breakfast.
Nice.
I'm so shocked you got away with that.
Me too. I'm like, wow.
What is one item or trend from the 90s that you wish would come back today that has not already, since I feel like we're already...
Mixed CDs.
Ooh.
Because they're so, like, they're such a curated, like, labor-intensive, like, it takes effort.
Yeah, not the same as, like, a Spotify
It's
playlist.
not.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that answer.
Same answer. Mixed CDs.
Okay. What is the first film you remember seeing in theaters that you were the impetus to going to see? So, like, you had to ask to be like, can we please go see this?
Lion King. And I was like 4, and I was traumatized after Mufasa died, and I begged my mom to like leave, so we left during Hakuna Matata because I was afraid more characters were gonna die.
You're like, they're all dying.
I know. So I never finished it until a year later when we got the VHS, and I was like, oh, that's what happens at the end.
Yeah, I think mine was E.T.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a very good one. All right, so my last question is, do you consider yourself a grown-up now? And if so, what was the point where you're like, yes, I am a grown-up now? You know, is it filing taxes, paying mortgages? You know, those are some like, yeah, those are the sad ones. But, you know, there could be a good, made a movie.
I know. Am I grown up now?
I don't think I'm a grown up.
Okay, that's a very valid
I don't
answer.
think I'm a grown up.
I don't think. I think I love it. I mean, I like literally listen to all the pop songs. I mean, listen to more pop than my kids listen to. I mean, I you know, I'm like that person that's like singing loud in the car. Everybody's like, oh God, like my kids are probably feel like more grown-ups than I do at times.
Same.
Fine. I think
My kids feel like more grown-ups than her.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I think that's totally fine. I think you know, we should hold on to the youthfulness
Yeah,
as long as
right?
we can.
It's
Who says we have to grow up?
Nobody.
Our mom said we had to grow up.
Yeah, that's true.
We have to listen to them
True.
apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you both so much. Congrats on the film.
Thank you.